back to the podcast.
We're back. It's
on
been a while.
the road, too. We are on vacation.
First road show. Taking the show on the road for the first time. Bright, sunny Anna Maria Island. Which, by the way, before we get any further, we're in a lovely house.
Yeah.
We're about a half a mile off the beach. But if we had a sponsor for this podcast who would fund this road trip, we could probably be on the beach, looking out, hearing the waves crashing, putting us to sleep at night. But we're not. Not complaining, just saying, sponsors, step up to the plate. Let's go.
Okay. I mean, it's what we want. We want the money. All right? We want the money. But we're going to start.
We want the glory and the money.
The pride. The honor.
I just want the clicks.
Okay.
I want the views. I want the likes. You know what I don't want? I don't want to do this podcast today. You know why?
Why?
I'm angry.
Why?
NCAA tournament, man.
March Madness.
March Madness is just crazy this year. It's crazy every year, but it's really crazy this year.
I mean, there was St. Peter's who made history. The first 15 seed to ever go to the Elite Eight.
That's a great story. Obviously, probably the best story of the tournament. Besides Coach K.
So, at this time that we are recording this, all of the Final Four teams are set. So, we've got North Carolina, Duke.
Which I have a feeling we're going to get into North Carolina here in a minute, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to rub that in my face a little bit,
yeah.
aren't you? Okay.
We've got Villanova, I believe. And then Kansas.
And Kansas.
So, I was thinking we start off with, the predictions, who we think is going to win those games, and who is going to win the national championship.
Well, Duke, Carolina, I think you've got Duke.
Oh, yeah.
How do you go against Coach K at this point? It's like destiny.
Yeah. It's, even though Duke lost to North Carolina last game of the regular season. He's not in the
ACC tournament.
Oh. Well, anyway. He's not going to lose again. They're not going to lose again.
And then Kansas, Villanova. I don't know. That's a coin flip for me. I would probably say Kansas.
I would agree.
So Duke, Kansas. I just think Duke's going to win it.
I agree. I think Duke's going to win the whole thing.
It really doesn't matter, though, because the team that I was completely confident in, Gonzaga, laid a complete egg.
Oh, yeah.
I am beside myself on that because my boy, Drew Timme, played out of his mind the entire tournament. Carried that team all 3 games. I think he averaged like 27 points and 10 rebounds. And the team and Mark Few, the coach, should be ashamed of themselves. They have deprived America, they have deprived the world of the chance to continue to see Drew Timme and that glorious mustache in the NCAA tournament. Just took it from us because they decided not to show up and play. Similar to what Baylor did against your North Carolina Tar Heels. I thought Gonzaga was far and away the best team in the tournament this year. I think I did 8 brackets this year, and I picked Gonzaga in all 8 of my brackets to win. I never do that. I always go different directions, right? I picked Gonzaga in all 8 of my brackets this year because I was so confident they were the better team. And I still think they are. They just did not show up to play. And Drew Timme's just a memory now.
A sad one. Or a happy one. He went out sad.
He is a glorious memory that we'll never forget. He's like a shining star. But that team, just a complete letdown. And I'm very distraught about it.
Can we talk about the Baylor North Carolina game?
Do we have time to talk about North Carolina?
I think we do.
You think so?
Yeah.
And we're on a tight schedule today. I mean, all right, go ahead. Get it out of the way.
So, hot garbage is what you called North Carolina when I said North Carolina will beat Baylor.
Were those my words?
Yes.
Verbatim?
You said North Carolina is hot garbage like Baker Mayfield.
I believe I did. You're right. You're right. I was wrong.
Baylor, like we've said, did not come to play that game. They went down 25 points. Sure, they actually came back. The game went into overtime, which kind of scary for me. But they did not look good in the first half, or even really the second half. They started to pick it up, but when you're down 25 points, that's not enough.
That's another perfect example of a team not showing up ready to play. They didn't come out with any emotion. North Carolina played harder. They were tougher, more physical, and it showed in the first half. And, what was it? Up 25 with 10 minutes to go. And then Baylor finally decided to start playing the number one seed that they were. That's, now you're going to get me off on tangents again. That's another frustrating aspect of not just the NCAA tournament, but any sport. When it's a playoff or a one and done situation, how do you not come ready to play as a team? How?
I don't know.
I just don't understand. If it's in the regular season on a Tuesday night game and
you're versing an 0-16 seed, 0-16.
Yeah, whoever you're playing, if you don't show up to play, in one of those situations, I understand. It's very difficult to get up and excited for every single game you play when you play 30 to 35 games during the year. But in the NCAA tournament, when it's a one and done situation, how do you not come ready to play? I don't understand it. And I'm talking to you, Baylor, and I'm talking to you, Gonzaga.
I mean, this is it. This is your chance. You are both number one seeds, Gonzaga and Baylor.
Teams are so close. I mean, look at St. Peter's, a 15 seed. I don't even know what conference St. Peter's plays in. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know where St. Peter's is. I think it's in New York or New Jersey or somewhere up on the East Coast. But that team doesn't have the talent that these larger conference teams like the North Carolinas and the Baylors have. They came and they played with heart and they played with passion, and it showed. And so, the margin versus winning and losing in any sport, especially a college sport like that, is so narrow that if you don't come ready to play, you're going to get beat. And so, yeah, you were right with North Carolina. They came ready to play against Baylor. They beat them. That North Carolina is my biggest surprise of the tournament, other than St. Peter's, obviously. But take St. Peter's out in that great run. North Carolina, I'm still shocked by the run that they've made and that they're in the Final Four right now. And again, I'll say it on record, you were right, I was wrong.
We haven't figured it all out. And honestly, I kind of forgot about it. But the bet, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know where we stand on that, actually.
I have no clue. We're going to have to look after this. How many points and stuff we have. But
if you would have picked North Carolina,
I would have.
It'd be over.
Yeah.
You would have won.
So we talked about it on the last episode, our March Madness podcast. But I had a second bracket that I had North Carolina going all the way to the final two, and I had Arizona winning. So honestly, now I wish I had Carolina winning it all. I do. I think they're going to win it all? No. I think Duke will win it. But if they do, I think me and a group of friends have kind of like what we have, I guess, like a league type of thing. And I think I'm winning in points right now because of North Carolina. Because no one had North Carolina
Well, that's the crazy part and how unpredictable this tournament has been. So I've picked Gonzaga in all of my brackets to win. That obviously didn't happen. But with all the other favorites losing, I'm still in really good shape in most of my brackets. Never underestimate my ability to suck less than everybody else.
I think that's just how. I mean, I think that's just how it works. That's just how March Madness works. You can't predict everything. I think there were like 300 brackets left after the first day. Not the first round, the first day of games.
Sounds right.
And then after the first day, there was none.
Look, I've learned. I'm older than you. I've watched way more sports than you. I've learned nobody knows what they're talking about. All these talking heads with the hot takes on these national sports shows or other podcasts, they're all opinion based and they don't know what they're talking about. So I think this podcast, we provide more education than some of those people making a lot of money who actually have sponsors. So apparently sponsors don't care whether you're right or wrong.
No. Apparently not.
It's just how entertaining you are. And we're entertaining.
Very entertaining.
Sometimes.
Maybe.
I think we're entertaining. All right, so I said Duke and Kansas, and I think
we have the same
Duke.
thing. I think we have the same bracket, so
I could see Kansas winning though.
I don't see that. I think Kansas chokes.
It just feels like destiny for Coach K. Good for him.
Good way to go out.
Good way to go out. But Duke in North Carolina in the Final Four. I mean, it's one of the biggest rivalries, if not the biggest in college basketball. It's similar to like Ohio State-Michigan rivalry.
Yeah.
So it's good to see. It'll be good
entertainment.
It'll be good TV.
I'm
looking forward to it. Next weekend.
There'll be like a lot of tension between those players. I think it'll get aggressive.
Well, they've already played.
And
they've played at least twice this year.
Yeah. I don't know who won. I know we know North Carolina won.
You said North Carolina beat them in the last regular season game, and that could be right. I thought they played in the ACC tournament. I could be wrong on that though. So they've played at least twice, maybe 3 times this year. We should probably do some fact checking before we record a podcast. Similar to, we should probably discuss what we're gonna talk about on the podcast before we just hit play.
We don't. I mean, but that's what you said. The first episode, you said, I just want to spit out random facts.
Wing it. We're just gonna wing it.
And random ideas about sports. That's what you said.
I did.
So that's what we're doing.
And it's going well.
Yeah. So go ahead. Keep going.
Well, I mean, I think we're in alignment with what we think is going to happen in the Final Four and in the championship game. So
I think we should talk about like all of the teams that like surprised us and like how far.
Well, obviously St. Peter's is a big surprise. Nobody. I'm hard pressed to believe anybody had St. Peter's in the Elite Eight.
I think that if you had St. Peter's in the Elite Eight, you were joking. Like, it was just oh my god, I'm going to pick the worst teams to go into the Elite Eight type of bracket.
Or you're picking a bracket based on
like your favorite team
color, something like that.
But I don't know who in New Jersey, that's where St. Peter's is, I looked it up, who in New Jersey is a St. Peter's fan.
It's a great question. Probably not very many people.
Yeah.
I bet there are people who live in New Jersey that didn't know where St. Peter's was.
Yeah.
Okay, so St. Peter's was obviously a surprise. I've already had my Gonzaga rant. I'm still just shocked that they lost in the Elite Eight. In the Sweet 16. I'm actually surprised by the ACC. The ACC, which is typically one of the better, if not the best conference in college basketball, really had a down year. I mean, North Carolina was on the bubble to even make the tournament with like 2 weeks to go in the season. And now they're in the Final Four. Duke's been good all year, but they're a young team. They've got holes. You know, they had a ton of question marks. So them making it to the Final Four is not shocking, but a little bit surprising. Miami making it to the Elite Eight.
I mean,
and so the ACC had a really good
who did
tournament.
Miami had to beat USC, I think. USC.
I think so.
Auburn and who else? I can't think.
They played UCLA.
Yeah. No, they didn't. No, because North Carolina.
Oh, Iowa State.
Yeah.
So the ACC had a really good tournament. I'm surprised by that.
Which Iowa State was also on a roll, too.
They were. Things that did not surprise me, the Big Ten puking all over themselves like they do every single year.
We had 9 teams in. I think it was the most of every conference.
9 teams, and not one made it to the Elite Eight.
No. Ohio State wasn't a shocker.
No, Ohio State was not a good team this year.
Purdue lost to St. Peter's.
I thought Purdue had a chance to make a run. I never thought Purdue would win it because they don't play enough defense, and I think we have that on record on our previous podcast where I said Purdue doesn't play good enough defense.
Iowa lost in the first round, which killed everyone's bracket.
Yeah, Michigan made a good run, but the Big Ten, I don't think, has won a national title in basketball since Michigan State in like 2000, 2001. So it's been over 20 years since the Big Ten has won a national title. And many of those years...
Wait, Michigan made it to the Elite Eight, didn't they? Because it was Michigan versus Villanova. Oh, wait, no. Because then it was Villanova versus Miami.
They had 9 teams in, none made it to the Elite Eight. But they do it every single year. Every single year, they're one of the best conferences in the country. And they get to the tournament, and they just don't play well for whatever reason. So that is not a shock to me at all. I'm not really shocked. Other than North Carolina, I'm not shocked by any of the other 3 teams in the Final Four. I mean, Villanova's a great team. Duke is a great team. And Kansas has been a great team all year. So
I didn't think that Villanova would make it that far. I thought they would make it to the Elite Eight or the Sweet 16, but I didn't think they were going to win.
Why?
Something about them, I had doubt in them. They just, they killed Ohio State by 20?
No.
It was 8, never mind. 10?
But it was a close game.
Ish.
Most of the game was close. They pulled away at the end.
Who did they play first?
I don't know. I think they were a 3 seed, so a 14 seed.
And then, my gut said that they weren't going to make it that far. I had to go with my gut. My gut has been wrong pretty much this entire
Everyone's gut bracket has been wrong.
Besides North Carolina. That was correct. But, I think, will anyone ever have a perfect bracket? No. I don't think in the history of the earth, the universe, that's never going to happen. Unless they invent time travel, where you can skip forward into time and see who wins and then make your bracket. But, no.
I could make a lot of money if I could do that. A little Back to the Future situation.
What is it if you get a perfect bracket? 1 billion? Is it 1 million or 1 billion?
Warren Buffett used to do a perfect bracket where I think it was $1 billion to anybody that had a perfect bracket. I don't know if he still does that though. But other places, other companies will. The prizes are rather significant if you have a perfect bracket. But to your point, it's never going to happen unless you get some computer algorithm that is able to generate every single scenario and do that. Somebody is not going to physically fill out a bracket and have a perfect bracket.
There was one kid, I think, a few years ago, who got the first 2 rounds correct, I think. Or was it I don't know if it was the first round or the first 2, And I think he got like $10,000 or something like that.
What would you do with $10,000?
The responsible thing to do would be save it.
I didn't ask what the responsible thing was. I asked
But
you
what would
you
I do with it?
If you had free reign to do whatever you wanted with $10,000 right now, what would you do with it?
Probably buy some like video games, some dolphin stuff, because I don't have a lot of that. I'm wearing a dolphin shirt right now.
Which, by the way, I cannot wait till our next podcast. We're going to talk a little NFL free agency. I'm ready to get your reaction.
I am so happy that happened.
Hey, maybe by then Baker will have found a team.
Yeah.
Probably not, because nobody wants him. Do you know why nobody wants him?
Because he's hot garbage.
Boom. All right. Well, I think that's our tournament recap to this point. Like I said, next show we'll do NFL free agency, which could be a long show because a lot has happened in the NFL. This has been the craziest free agency period I can ever remember.
I mean, I've just seen screenshots of NFL players posting on Twitter and stuff like that on social media, just saying, "What the hell is going on?"
Well, you asked me like 2 weeks ago, is it always this crazy?
And you said no.
And I said no, but then everything started to happen. All the quarterback movements, all the other, the wide receivers moving. It has been crazy. So when I told you it's always this way, I was wrong on that too, because again, I don't remember another year where there have been so many big trades and so many big free agent movements. So we'll talk about that in the next podcast.
I'm super excited to talk about that.
I'm sure you're ready to talk about Tyreek Hill, aren't you?
I'm super excited to talk about Tyreek Hill.
All right, well, let's go enjoy the sunshine while we can, since it's 23 degrees at home.
Yeah.
And
snowing, I think.
It's pushing 80 here in bright, sunny Florida. So, good podcast. We'll see y'all next time.